What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Vestabon's Blood Box. We're here to talk about things metal, all things around metal and such. If you've been watching my channel, you know how it goes. As I said in my last few videos, and as you probably noticed, I have been out of the scene in the picture for the last few weeks as we have been moving into our new place. We are finally moved in, which we are very excited about. We now live just outside of downtown Minneapolis in a much bigger place, and with this I also get to have my own dedicated studio, which I'm super stoked about. And by the recommendation of Deathlike Reviews, he said that I should do a sort of tour of my space, which I think is a great way to jump back in and start doing videos again. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Take you through some of my collection, some of the arts I've accumulated over the years, you know, music stuff, what I use, all of that. And I do apologize, the video and sound might not be great because I'm using my phone today just so we can walk around and see it all, but we'll make it work with what we have. So, and I am also sporting my brand new Numenorian shirt. They were very limited, but I was able to snag one. Pretty sick. Pretty death metal for Numenorian. I think the imagery is a little harsher than what their music is, but pretty cool nonetheless. So, anyways, we'll get turned around and I will show you my space. Alright, so we're going to start over here in the corner. Nice thing about it is I'm right next to the bathroom, which is great, because I drink a lot of soda, which is very horrible for your health, but it also makes me have to, you know, use the bathroom a lot. TMI, don't know why I'm telling you that, but hey, now you know, I guess. So here is the quick rundown of the room. It's fantastic. I've never had a space like this. Usually it's just in the corner of a living room or a bedroom. So I get my own dedicated space now, which is fantastic. So we'll just start with up here in the corner with the artwork and make our way around. There will be a mandolin hanging here. It's actually a mandolin I've been using in a lot of my recent musical work, but just waiting on those hooks to come in. We'll start here. This is an image, original piece from my buddy Tyler Hargrove. We went to college together. We're in the art program. This is a piece from his senior show. As you can see, he does kind of some cartoony horror stuff, and we traded a couple pieces of artwork at the end of that. Fantastic artist. If you want to check him out, he goes by Ham Fist on Instagram. So, great stuff. A lot of style. Moving right along here. This is a piece by my professor from college, Marcus Howell, an insanely talented artist. This is an original etching of his that he gifted me whenever I graduated. It's pretty cool to have. If you're familiar with the magazine Juxtapose, he's had a little bit of work in there too. Also from college days, these are some images from my buddy Chris Escobar, an insanely talented artist. These are just some little etchings he did. He had some extra little plates that were trimmings from bigger plates he was doing, so he just wanted to do some fun little images, and I snagged them from him. I would definitely check out his work too. He goes by Worser Beings on Instagram, and his website I think is worserbeings.com. You can find it from his Instagram though. And if you watched my very first video I ever did, here's the piece of art from Matt. This is the original artwork for the album cover of the doom metal band Egypt's Become the Sun. Local band out of, I believe it was North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota. But yeah, this is the original painting. I'm buddies with Brian Koshak, who's the artist for this. Fucking amazing artist. So yeah, gifted that to me, which is pretty cool. More artwork. This is a piece from Jeremy Hahn. Got this at a Comic-Con from him. It's John Constantine from the Hellblazer comics, or if you've seen the movie Constantine, it's that character. So pretty cool to have. Image of me and my best bud in the world, Justin Coburn. This guy right here. Drinking some wine. He's actually level 2 sommelier, I believe, but we've been friends for a long time. He's a fantastic writer. And he does a lot of the writing for the comics that I illustrate. We've been doing work together for a while, so gotta have him in here. I've got this, which is a wonderful, wonderful collection of cassettes to have. It's the full collection of the 1980s, early 80s BBC radio rendition of The Lord of the Rings. Also included Ian Holm. He was Frodo in this. If you watch the movies, he's Bilbo in the movies. But he was Frodo in this, and it's my personal opinion, this is the single best adaptation of The Lord of the Rings that is out there. It is absolutely incredible. If you're into cassettes, you can get these on eBay for I think $10-15. They sold for about $70. There was still a tag on this from the 80s. They were pretty expensive back in the day, but yeah, really great stuff. If you're into Dungeon Synth and follow the Facebook Dungeon Synth groups, you'll see this pop up a lot. A lot of us have that. Up above, original artwork by my girlfriend Katie's uncle. He actually does a lot of the original artwork for Elton John, for his posters, concert posters, and promotional stuff. And Davey Johnston, I'll get a closer picture here in a minute, but Davey Johnston's the guitar player for Elton John. He was also in a lot of other kind of classic rock stuff. So Katie's uncle made this for me for my birthday, and then got it signed by Davey Johnston, which is pretty cool. So that's nice to have. Here's just a random collection of things. This was a little figure that was included with the Dungeon Synth tape from Tyrannus, which was cool, or I think it was Coniferous Mist, actually. But that was nice. Skull, you just can't have too many skulls. I worked at a Ford dealership for a while, so that's what that is. Little Year of the Rat sculpture I found on my way to work in Chicago one day. There's a little story behind that, but I'll get into that another time. And my Henry and Glenn Forever and Ever pin that I found at Extreme Noise here in Minneapolis, the punk non-profit record store, so that was fun. Picture of my band from back in Missouri. We were just a cover band, we had a lot of fun. These two guys, Scott Snow and Brian Lawson, were both in the hair metal band Naked Zoo back in the 80s. And we just got a little cover band together, it was a good time. Brad Allen's also a hell of a drummer from Missouri too. So you'll see this guitar that I'm holding here in a moment on the wall. It's my Les Paul, but good dudes, miss them. Still keep in contact with them. Alright, let's get a view of the records here. Sorry if it keeps going in and out of focus, my phone kind of sucks here. So yeah, here's the collection. Modest comparatively to, or compared to a lot of you other awesome metal dudes and collectors, but it's getting there. This is about 3 years worth of collecting. Starting with equipment, I have this Philips 6-disc CD changer. Come on, focus phone, you can do it. There we go. I got this at a Goodwill for $5. Works. That's really all I need it for. So I don't usually do a lot of CDs. We're listening right now to a compilation CD that came with the Zero Tolerance magazine. They look like these. You get them with each issue. I really like that magazine, and I found a lot of cool music from it. Talk more about that here in a moment. I've got my stack of them. But anyways, CD player. Blah, I'm just babbling on about stuff, aren't I? Teak, my cassette player. This was actually a nice little score. I got this off of eBay. It's the CX310. These were made in Japan. This is a early 80s model. I think it was right at 1980, 1981 is when they made these. Difference than a lot of them, from a lot of other cassette players, is it has the piano key controls, which I have been told is becoming a sought-after version of these cassette players. I got the belts replaced in this, and the guy said that he's been seeing a lot of people looking for those, so stoked to have it. Actually makes cassettes sound really, really badass. They sound fantastic through this. Cassettes can sound really good if you've got a good system for them. And then my receiver, nothing special here, just a Sony. Does what I need to do. I'm able to plug in all my toys and switch through them with that, so that's nice. We've got the Tormentor re-release, which is cool. They had some distro from Season of Mist on that, so that was nice. I was very excited to get that. Love me some Tormentor. If you're familiar with Mayhem, this is the singer now's first project. What the hell is his name? Can't think of it. Can't think of it right now, but anyways, it's the Mayhem singer, the one who's currently with them. This was his first band. This is my record player. Modest, does the trick. Nothing crazy or fancy, but it's just the Audio-Technica LP120. Solid record player. Really can't go wrong with it. Currently just have the stock needle in it, as you can see, the green hoping to upgrade that soon, but I love this record player. It's a beast. It sounds great, works great. You can upgrade all the parts to it, so highly recommended. For categorizing my records, as you can see, a lot of metal, mostly metal. This label didn't really fit back there because I didn't really measure anything before I put it all together in this room. But that's all metal too, so metal, all the way up to the goth section. And then I've even got a Dungeon Synth vinyl section starting here, because there's a lot more vinyl starting to come out with that. Punk, mostly pop punk. That's just that little part, and then this is all non-metal stuff, but there's a lot of great records in there too. And I'm a big Mark Kozilek fan, who's Red House Painters and Sun Kill Moon, so those are all Mark Kozilek records. And this is the infamous Blood Box that the channel's named after right here. We'll get into that one day. 7 inches, don't have a lot, but they're starting to grow. I've got some in there. And moving over here to the cassettes and CDs. I will make a recommendation if you're into cassettes. These shelves that I'm using, you may have already seen this, but I learned this from the Dungeon Synth channels, because it's mostly cassettes that Dungeon Synth comes out on. These were actually, I got them at IKEA. They're $5 a pop. They're spice racks. So you just get them in the kitchen section, but as you can see, they perfectly fit cassettes, which is awesome. Ooh, it's dusty. I gotta dust it. It's from moving. I did a terrible job painting them. They just come in a natural wood, and I just use spray paint, but it works. But yeah, these are great. IKEA, $5 a pop. CDs. All of these are disorganized right now. I haven't had the chance to organize them yet. I'll be doing that soon, but also got these, CDs. I'm mostly a vinyl and cassette guy, but there's some stuff that's hard to find on both of those, so when I can't get that, I get the CD of it. And as you can see, it's mostly metal for both of these too. Might do some more cassette videos soon. Blasphemy got all re-released recently, which is cool. Leviathan, I love. Buddy Koshak, Brian Koshak, that guy, gave me all these Melvins cassettes, which is cool. Same with CDs, mostly metal. So, yeah, those collections are growing too. Alright, right along, extra records down there. God, phone. Focus. There we go. Alright, right along to some more art here. More Brian Koshak work. This is from his comic books. This was a an original page from a comic called Narcoleptic Sunday that he did. Brian Koshak did the illustration. Jeremy Hahn, the guy that did this, did the writing on it. But it was a pretty cool, trippy story. As I said in the first video talking about a little bit about Brian Koshak, he's really into the 60s psychedelic posters and psychedelic artwork, which you can really tell on this work here. This is an older page. This is from a newer story. A little short story he did for an anthology. As you can see, he's a hell of an artist. I actually traded him for this artwork. Him and his wife were going to come to Chicago while we were living there to see Mark Lanigan, and I had asked him previously if he had this page available because I really liked it. And he said, yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll just do a straight across trade. If you'll get the tickets to Lanigan for us, I'll give you this page. And I was like, that's absolutely a killer deal, I'll take it. And he was very kind. Him and his wife work at a frame shop too. They were very kind to frame it very nicely for me. And he actually included the entire story of the comic. It's like, I think, a 6-page comic or something like that, but they're all behind the frame in there, so that was really cool. A nice added addition to it. So I have this whole short story. I'm going to turn off these lights real quick because they reflect off of these next images here. Because these I'm very excited to finally have hung up. I've had these kind of stored in a closet for a long time. But one of the things I like to snag at metal shows and such is original screen printed posters, especially if they're specific to the show. It's one of those things I think is just really cool that is still around, especially nowadays. But yeah, we'll go through these here. This was a killer show. This was a poster screen printed just for the Chicago show of Cannibal Corpse, Gatekeeper, and Power Trip. As you can see, it was November 24th, Italia Hall, Chicago. This is right after Italia Hall opens. It's one of my favorite venues in Chicago. Great sound. You can see the bands no matter where you're standing in the venue. There's 2 bars in the back, so it's never hard to get a drink. Just a really stellar place and a really cool vibe. And this is a great show. Absolutely great show. Again, this is a hand screen printed poster. Got some really stellar details. Really love this poster. All 3 bands were amazing. I will say, I'm not a thrash guy, and I'm not really a Power Trip fan, but Power Trip fucking was incredible at this show. They were really, really awesome. As you can see, I got the ticket in there. I still like to get the physical tickets going to shows. I know it's easier just to print them off and it's cheaper, but I like having the original one for the memories. Right along here, this is the show we saw here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, UADA. This was a really, really fantastic show. They opened up for $13.49, and Cloak was playing also an original screen printed poster. Got the ticket to that if you can see it. Sorry, I know it's kind of dark. That was my ticket. Luckily, I actually bought both of the vinyl records of UADA at this show because they've been hard to get, but they had them there. So I didn't have enough cash left over to get a poster, but they had some left over after the tour was over, so I was able to snag one, which was cool. So, yep. UADA, killer band. And moving right along, this is a poster from another Chicago show. This was at Beat Kitchen. Went to go see Relayer, which is that top band there. Relayer, I worked with the drummer. His name is Steven, and he is actually the drummer for Locrian also. He's in a couple other projects too, but if you've heard the sort of noise metal band Locrian, he is the drummer for that, and then is also the drummer for this group. The guitar player of Relayer is also the main guitar player in Pelican, and then the bass player is also the bass player for Russian Circles. So Relayer is kind of a super group, all instrumental stuff. Killer band. Band I found at this show was Photocrime. I had never heard of them before and fell in love with them. It's one dude, the main guy behind it. He does have some touring musicians. He's also the main singer in the band Coliseum, but started this project recently. Photocrime's like, it's straight up 80s goth sound, very Sisters of Mercy-like. So if you're into that sort of stuff, highly, highly recommend checking out Photocrime. Also, again, local artist did the screen printed poster for it, which was cool. I had a really shitty pen that I had the guys from Photocrime sign the poster, but they're terrible because it was a really bad pen. Also cut off a little bit there, but it's cool to have. Let's move right along here. This poster is just one of your cheap ones that you go throw up, at different record stores and stuff, but I wanted to snag one and frame it. This was the first metal show I saw when we moved to Minneapolis. All local metal bands. All great bands also. This was cool. It was my first time seeing Nephrons and meeting Jory. He's a great guy. Also, it's fair. Also great people. I've been hanging out with them at Hammerheart. Hung out with Jory a little bit before he moved back to, was it Wyoming, I think? Or the Dakotas? Something like that. But killer show at the Nomad, back when the Nomad was the Nomad. I think it's called Part Wolf now. Everyone calls it Wolf Parts. And this is a Murder by Death is this screen printed poster. This is an old show we went to. Sorry, it's kind of dark, so I had to turn those lights off. But Murder by Death's a great band, not metal, but just really good indie rock band. So check them out. Killer poster too. I'm gonna turn the lights back on here so you can see. Just like to reflect in those posters. There we go. So yeah, there's those. I got my second speaker. Finally have the speakers mounted how they kind of should be across the room here, as best as I can tell. It's my Zero Tolerance magazine collection. Really love this magazine. I found a lot of great bands from them. As you can see, they do interviews and reviews of some bigger bands, but they also have a lot of indie metal bands represented as well. Kind of pricey, but you get a comp CD with it, which is cool. So, oh yes, my TV, my ancient TV. So actually this I found right before we moved. There was a house right behind our apartment buildings that they were cleaning it all out, kind of gutting it, it looked like. And this was on the side of the road with the sign free on it. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to check out and see if that works. And luckily it does. Works perfectly, so does the VHS player. So I'm nerding right the hell out and getting back into VHSs. As you can see, trying to keep it all either fantasy, sci-fi, or like goth action type stuff. I'm not just buying every movie on the face of the earth, but it's my collection so far. Got a lot of classics in here. Neverending Story 1 and 2. The first Neverending Story is fantastic. The second one's dog shit. Lost Boys, of course. This movie, Pass the Ammo, was filmed in Arkansas. And the reason I had this is because my mom and dad were actually in it as extras. And you can see them for a brief moment. It's, I haven't watched it in a while. If I remember correctly, it was a pretty terrible movie, but yeah, had to get that, of course. I think the Coen brothers actually wrote it. They didn't direct it, though. Yeah, there's those. Of course, got Aliens. Typo Negative After Dark. Finally found a copy of this. Been looking for that for a while. It's got all the music videos. Typo Negative and them being idiots, but it's fun. A lot of backstage type stuff. Pink Floyd, Metallica, those were gifted to me. A couple DVDs. Some Pearl Jam 20, some art books. And of course, nerding right the hell out. I've got the original Gundam series on VHS, which is cool. It's a nice thing is box sets like that on VHS. It's kind of the same with cassettes. They're still really cheap. So like that box set was only, I think, about $5. So there's reasons to get back into this stuff. It's partially just because it's easy to find right now. And a bunch of art books. Same over here. A bunch of art books from college and stuff I still use. Character from the project I'm working on with Justin Coburn, the guy that was in that photo. And Katie brought this back to me from St. Patrick's Cathedral in Ireland when she visited there. Not a religious person, but it was cool to have an original rosary from the original St. Patrick's Cathedral. All my art supplies. It's just about everything I use right there. We're doing artwork. My art table, which is a very exciting thing to have. I had a expensive piece of shit art table before this. It's like a $200 art table, but it sucked. Got it from Blick or something like that. And turns out you can kind of build your own from IKEA. This thing cost about 120 bucks. It's huge. It's really sturdy. Had to add this little lip on it, but that was pretty easy. Just went to Menards. Got a little piece of wood, screwed it in, painted it. But yeah, I finally have a nice big art table. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not getting paid by IKEA to say any of this or anything, but IKEA is kind of awesome for finding stuff. So that art table's from there. These frames for these posters are all from IKEA. This size, kind of standard poster size, like 15 bucks. The really big one's 20. They come pre-matted, which is nice. They kind of cut off some of the stuff, but if you're looking for cheap frames that look expensive, IKEA's got them. So, my iPad for references, got my lights, all that stuff. Oh yeah, this is, let me turn the slide on here. So I was a printmaking major in college. That's why a lot of that artwork was from printmaking stuff. My mom framed this for me, which was cool. These were the lithograph stones that I used for my senior show. I just took a picture just for fun, and then she pulled it off Facebook and framed it, so that was cool. Nice memories. Spent a lot of time in the studio working with these heavy-ass stones, doing old-school lithographs. So, oh, and this right here just looks like a blank piece of paper, I know. But it's turned over because I can't say what it is yet. But this is a very special project I recently got commissioned to do. You'll be hearing more about this soon. Can't say much about it yet, but I'm really excited about this. It is metal related. It is related to metal, so super stoked. Just extra random crap. As you can see on my drawing table, that's where I put all my stickers all over everything. Sort of a battle desk, I guess. My Sayor flag. This was released with the Bandcamp the first Friday that they were waiving all fees for artists. They were released this flag, which was cool. I think it sold out pretty quick, but I was able to snag one. I dig how straightforward it is. Kind of dig the flag thing. Kind of hard to hang though because they stretch weird, but yeah, pretty sick. Dig that. My workhorse printer that's broken, but it works for an 11x17 scanner, which is standard comic book pages. A little dirty, I had some incense burning in here, but it's hard to find an 11x17 scanner. The scanners themselves go for like $500 or $600, but you can get this printer that has one for $300. So this is kind of the go-to model for a lot of comic artists. So there's that, if you're interested. Metal books. Love my metal books. Got the Non-Servium Rotting Christ story. Bunch of stuff there. I'm also a fucking nerd. I like Magic. I play Magic. Also EVE Online. I don't play EVE Online anymore. I got a little too addicted and it was taking up all my time instead of making music and art, so quit that, but I got the books because I still love that game. Yeah, it's fun to be a nerd. We're all a little nerdy, right? This is also sort of a goofy thing I did for myself, but if you watch the videos from the Dark Ambient Dungeon Synth show from Minneapolis that I performed in, this was the poster for it, and I went and printed myself one. Just to commemorate it. It's the first original project I've done where I actually played a show, as you can see. There I am. A lot of fun hanging out with those dudes too online, but yeah, that's Kinko's, printed myself a poster. Got the Morrowind necklace that came with the cassette release. Thief poster that came with the Thief 1, 2, 3, and 4 CD release. The Buddhist prayer flags, I think are what they are. It was something from a job I had in Chicago. Other random stuff. So yeah, let's move back here. I'll show you the music side of things, the workstation. So there's my music desk, all my instruments. So here's that Les Paul that was in that picture. Had this for 2005, got it when I was 16. Gibson Les Paul Classic. Stellar guitar. Really love that guitar. Been a workhorse for a long time. Broke the headstock off of it and got it fixed. Like a true Les Paul fashion. Telecaster, sort of a Frankenstein. My dad got this for me for Christmas one year. It was a build your own kit that I worked at a music store at the time, so I got a all parts Fender licensed neck, Fender 59 Telecaster pickups, new hardware, new guts. So it's actually a pretty decent little Telecaster. Good for all my clean tones. Newest edition, 1980s Charvel, Jackson Charvel. I think this was one of the ones that was maybe made in Japan. I'm not 100% sure. But that's my my metal guitar. I really have always wanted a single pickup metal guitar. I just like how straightforward they are, and found this bad boy for pretty cheap. So, and it plays great. Schecter Diamond Series bass. I know a lot of dudes have been using these. I picked one up too. It's an active bass. You can get a lot of great tone out of it. Kind of does everything you need. Real hot pickups. So, good. Just solid workhorse. There's my station. As you can see, I got been doing some shopping on Binder and Folkvanger, seeing what all's new with those guys. I use my Simzik tablet for coloring comic pages digitally. This is what I do a lot of my Dungeon Synth work on with digital synths. Presonus to plug in all the instruments and such. Come on, phone, focus. There we go. So yeah, just my little workstation. Breedlove guitar. This was also picked this up when I was working at the same music store where I got the parts for that. Breedlove is actually the guy, I think it's Larry Breedlove was his name, did all the inlay work for Taylor back in the day, and then eventually went out on his own to create his own guitar company. And usually Breedloves have a real strange modern look to them. If you've seen them, they kind of have a pointed headstock, usually weird cut bodies and stuff. But he came out with this short-lived Roots series was the name of it, which pretty much borrowed all of its design from the old, like 50s Martin guitars. Even the bracing on the inside is scalloped like the Martin guitars were back in the day, so it's meant to sound like an old Martin acoustic without the hefty price tag. It's all solid wood, all made in the U.S. Great guitar. It's also been a workhorse for many years. Taken quite a beating. It holds up great. So, and yeah, there's that. Got my metal shirts in here. Those are all metal shirts. Collection continues to grow. So, storage, yeah, nothing really interesting in here, just the shirts, I guess. So yeah, that's the new studio. This is all my space. I'm sure things will grow. As you can see, the records are starting to fill up about every space I got in there. But yeah, it's really nice to finally have a dedicated space to hang out and do work. And this is where I'll be doing the YouTube videos from soon. This is how you'll be seeing my face. So, yeah. So there it is. There's the room. Super stoked. Thank you for checking out my space. Like I said, I'm super excited to be here. So we'll be doing more videos soon. I will be doing some more in-depth videos with some of my collection and stuff, and some more of the bands. Got some other collection update coming up because I've got some more records coming in. But now that we've got a nice space to do it, we'll get a little more in-depth with some things. And before I go, this is for Marty Worm. His favorite bands, the Nusian Death Cell. So good. The Nusian Death Cell. Alright guys, thanks for checking it out. See you all soon.